The worst food for your heart, worse than salt. You probably heard that too much salt can be bad for your heart. But what if I told you there's something even worse hiding in your kitchen right now? You might eat it every day without realizing it's slowly damaging your heart and putting your health at serious risk. This food is linked to high blood pressure, clogged arteries, and chronic inflammation, weakening your heart little by little. And the worst part? It's just one of 9 common foods that could be silently destroying your cardiovascular health. But can you spot the worst one before it's too late? Stick with me until the end of this video, because I'm about to break down the absolute worst foods for your heart, according to science, and reveal the number 1 food that might be cutting your life short without you even knowing it. This is information you can't afford to ignore. Let's dive in. Number 9, sodas and sugary drinks, the sweet killer. If you think sugar is bad for your health, imagine consuming it in liquid form and in massive amounts. That's exactly what happens when you drink sodas and other sugary beverages. These drinks are loaded with high fructose corn syrup and artificial sweeteners, which flood your system, causing blood sugar spikes, insulin resistance, and dangerous fat buildup, especially around your belly. And that's just the beginning. Fructose, a key ingredient in many of these drinks, is processed only by your liver. When you overload it with too much fructose, your liver starts storing fat, increasing your risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD. This not only damages your liver, but also disrupts cholesterol metabolism, making you more vulnerable to heart disease and clogged arteries. But wait, it gets worse. Even if you're not overweight, drinking sodas regularly can increase your risk of heart attacks and strokes. Studies show these drinks raise inflammation, spike blood pressure, and stiffen blood vessels, all which put extra strain on your heart. And don't be fooled by diet sodas. They may not have sugar, but they contain artificial sweeteners that disrupt your gut health and worsen insulin resistance, ultimately harming your heart. And it's not just soda. Sports drinks, sweetened teas, and boxed juices are also sugar bombs in disguise. Many people assume fruit juices are a healthy choice, but most store-bought options are packed with just as much sugar as soda. These liquid sugar rushes force your heart to work overtime, try to manage excess glucose while struggling to keep your insulin levels in check. So what's the solution? Ditch the sugary drinks. Instead, go for sparkling water with lemon unsweetened teas or fresh fruit juices with no added sugar. Your heart will thank you. Number 8, hydrogenated vegetable oils, the silent artery clogger. If you use margarine, eat packaged cookies, or grab fried food at restaurants, chances are you're consuming hydrogenated vegetable oils without even knowing it. These oils go through a chemical process called hydrogenation, turning them into trans fats, one of the most deadly threats to your heart. Trans fats don't just raise bad cholesterol, LDL. They also lower good cholesterol, HDL, creating the perfect storm for clogged arteries. Over time, this leads to hardened blood vessels, poor circulation, and increased risk of high blood pressure, heart attacks, and strokes. The worst part? Even small amounts can be harmful, and they add up quickly in a typical diet. The World Health Organization has made it clear there is no safe level of trans fat consumption. They recommend eliminating it completely to prevent millions of deaths caused by heart disease each year. Where are these dangerous oils hiding? Hydrogenated vegetable oils are everywhere, from store-bought pastries, chips, and frozen pizzas to creamy ice creams, and even some supermarket breads. Some brands claim to be trans fat-free, but loopholes in food labeling allow small amounts per serving. If you eat multiple servings throughout the day, those tiny amounts add up fast. And it's not just trans fats. You also need to watch out for refined oils like soybean, canola, and corn oil. Even when they're not hydrogenated, these oils are heavily processed and become unstable at high temperatures, turning into toxic compounds when used for frying. This triggers inflammation, one of the root causes of atherosclerosis and other heart diseases. What's the solution? If you want to protect your heart, ditch the hydrogenated oils and go for healthier alternatives like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, or coconut oil. These natural oils don't cause inflammation and can even support heart health when used correctly. Keep watching. The worst food for your heart will be revealed soon. There are still more heart-harming foods to expose before we unveil the absolute worst one. So stick around. Number 7, fried foods. Who doesn't love the irresistible crunch of fried foods? Whether it's golden French fries, crispy fried chicken, or crunchy onion rings, fried foods are a guilty pleasure for many. But here's the hard truth. Every bite could be harming your heart more than you realize. More than just salt, the real danger. Most people think the biggest problem with fried foods is excess salt, but the danger goes far beyond that. Frying foods at high temperatures creates a toxic mix of saturated fats, trans fats, and harmful chemical compounds. These substances don't just raise bad cholesterol, LDL. They also trigger inflammation, damage blood vessels, and dramatically increase the risk of heart disease. The hidden risk in fast food fryers. It's not just what you fry. It's how it's fried that matters. Restaurants and fast food chains often reuse the same oil multiple times, turning it into a dangerous cocktail of oxidized fats and carcinogenic compounds. By the time that food reaches your plate, the oil has lost all its nutritional value and become a heart-wrecking poison. The consequences of eating fried foods. Clogged arteries. Fried foods spike LDL cholesterol and triglycerides, leading to fat buildup in arteries and increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Inflammation and aging. Superheated oil generates toxic compounds that fuel chronic inflammation, damage cells, and accelerate aging, not just inside, but outside too. Weight gain and metabolic syndrome. Fried foods are loaded with empty calories, making weight gain almost inevitable. Over time, they contribute to obesity, insulin resistance, high blood pressure, and metabolic disorders, a recipe for heart disease. Ever feel heavy after eating fried foods? Here's why. That greasy, sluggish feeling after eating fried food isn't just in your head. These fats are harder to digest, overloading the liver and slowing down metabolism. Over time, this imbalance can disrupt appetite hormones, making you crave more unhealthy foods and pushing you toward overeating and weight gain. What's the solution? If you want to protect your heart, it's time to cut back on fried foods. Instead, try air frying for a crispy texture without the excess oil. Baking or grilling your favorite foods for a healthier alternative. Using heart-healthy oils like extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil in moderation. Number 6. Refined breads and pastas. Who doesn't love the comforting taste of warm, fluffy bread in the morning or a hearty plate of pasta for dinner? These staples might seem harmless, but what if I told you they could be wreaking havoc on your heart? Stripped of nutrition, loaded with risk. Refined breads and pastas are made from white flour, which goes through an intense refining process that strips away fiber, vitamins, and essential nutrients. What's left? A fast-digesting, high-glycemic food that spikes blood sugar, fuels fat storage, and increases your risk of heart disease. How white flour is harming your heart. Blood sugar roller coaster. White bread and pasta cause rapid glucose spikes, forcing your body to overproduce insulin. Over time, this leads to insulin resistance, increasing the risk of type 2 diabetes and obesity, both major contributors to heart disease. Fat buildup in the arteries. Excess glucose in the bloodstream doesn't just disappear. It's converted into triglycerides, a type of fat that clogs arteries and raises the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Endless hunger and overeating. Ever notice how you're hungry again soon after eating white bread or pasta? That's because refined carbs provide quick energy but zero lasting satiety, leading to overeating and weight gain, especially around the belly, one of the biggest predictors of heart disease. The whole grain deception. Think you're making a healthier choice by opting for whole wheat bread? Think again. Many so-called whole grain products are mostly refined flour with a tiny bit of whole wheat thrown in, plus added sugars and preservatives that do more harm than good. The smart swap: heart-healthy carbs. Ditch the empty calories and fuel your body with real nutrition. Instead of white bread and pasta, opt for 100% whole grain bread. Look for bread with whole wheat or whole grain as the first ingredient, not enriched flour. Brown rice and quinoa. These fiber-packed grains help stabilize blood sugar and promote long-lasting energy. Sweet potatoes and oats, nutrient-dense and loaded with fiber. They keep you full longer and support heart health. We're getting closer to revealing the worst food for your heart. Stick around. You don't want to miss it. Number 5, energy drinks. Think energy drinks are just a quick pick-me-up? Think again. These seemingly harmless beverages are actually loaded with stimulants, sugar, and artificial additives that can wreak havoc on your heart. Why energy drinks are dangerous for your heart. Caffeine overload. A regular cup of coffee has about 80 milligrams of caffeine, but some energy drinks pack over 300 milligrams per can. That's like chugging 4+ cups of coffee in one go. This extreme caffeine dose can spike your heart rate, cause palpitations, and even trigger dangerous arrhythmias, especially if you're sensitive to stimulants. For people with underlying heart conditions, the risks can be deadly. Sugar shock. Many energy drinks are sugar bombs, leading to blood sugar spikes, insulin resistance, and increased fat storage, all of which fuel obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. Even the sugar-free versions aren't safe. Artificial sweeteners disrupt gut health, impact metabolism, and can still contribute to cardiovascular issues. Toxic cocktail of stimulants. It's not just the caffeine that's a problem. Energy drinks often contain taurine, guarana, and other stimulants that amplify caffeine's effects, putting even more strain on your heart. Research shows that regular consumption can elevate blood pressure and increase the risk of heart attacks and strokes. A smarter way to stay energized. Instead of reaching for a heart-harming energy drink, fuel your body the right way. Hydrate with water. Dehydration is a common cause of fatigue. Drink unsweetened green tea, a natural source of gentle caffeine and antioxidants. Eat energy-boosting foods, nuts, whole grains, and lean proteins provide sustained energy without the crash. We're getting closer to revealing the worst food for your heart. Number 4, processed meats. Do you love hot dogs, bacon, sausages, or deli meats? You might want to think twice before taking another bite. These highly processed foods are loaded with sodium, unhealthy fats, and harmful preservatives that can silently damage your heart over time. Why processed meats are a heartbreaker. Salt overload equals high blood pressure. Processed meats contain alarming amounts of sodium to enhance flavor and extend shelf life. But all that salt forces your body to retain water, raises blood pressure, and makes your heart work overtime. Over time, this significantly increases your risk of heart attacks and strokes. Unhealthy fats clog your arteries. Many processed meats are packed with saturated and trans fats, which increase bad cholesterol, LDL, while lowering good cholesterol, HDL. This creates plaque buildup in your arteries, restricting blood flow and raising your risk of serious cardiovascular diseases. Harmful preservatives and hidden dangers. Processed meats contain nitrates and nitrites, chemicals used to preserve color and flavor. But when exposed to heat, these compounds can turn into nitrosamines, a cancer-causing substance linked to inflammation, oxidative stress, and heart disease. Healthier protein swaps for a stronger heart. Instead of processed meats that harm your heart, opt for natural, nutrient-rich proteins like lean meats, chicken, turkey, grass-fed beef, fresh fish, salmon, tuna, mackerel, packed with heart-healthy omega-3s. Plant-based proteins, beans, lentils, tofu, and quinoa. Eggs, a complete protein powerhouse. Number 3, soft drinks. Soda might seem refreshing, but behind every fizzy sip lurks a hidden danger to your heart. Whether it's regular or diet, soft drinks are loaded with sugar, artificial sweeteners, and chemical additives that can wreak havoc on your cardiovascular health. The shocking truth about soft drinks. Sugar overload equals a fast track to heart disease. A single can of soda contains up to 10 teaspoons of sugar, far more than your body needs at once. This causes rapid blood sugar spikes, forcing your pancreas to pump out extra insulin. Over time, this can lead to insulin resistance, obesity, and type 2 diabetes, all of which significantly increase your risk of heart disease. Diet soda is no better. Think switching to diet soda is a smart move? Think again. Artificial sweeteners in diet sodas can mess with your metabolism, disrupt gut health, and increase cravings for unhealthy foods. Studies even suggest that diet soda drinkers have a higher risk of metabolic syndrome and heart problems. Harmful additives that weaken your body. Soft drinks also contain phosphoric acid, which weakens bones and strains kidney function. Many sodas are caffeinated, which can raise blood pressure and trigger irregular heartbeats. In short, the more soda you drink, the harder your heart has to work to keep up. A heart-healthy alternative. Swap the soda for these healthier options. Water, the best drink for your body. Herbal teas, naturally hydrating without harmful additives. Infused water, add lemon, berries, or mint for a refreshing twist. Fresh, unsweetened juices. Enjoy natural flavors without excess sugar. Number 2, margarine and hydrogenated oils, the silent heart killers. For decades, margarine was marketed as a heart-healthy alternative to butter, but science has exposed the truth. Margarine and hydrogenated oils are packed with trans fats, some of the most dangerous substances for your heart. Why trans fats are a heart's worst enemy? They destroy your cholesterol balance. Trans fats are artificially created through hydrogenation, a chemical process that turns liquid oils into solid fats for a longer shelf life. But what does this mean for your heart? They raise bad cholesterol, LDL, and lower good cholesterol, HDL, leading to clogged arteries and an increased risk of heart attacks and strokes. They fuel chronic inflammation. Trans fats don't just mess with cholesterol. They also trigger inflammation, which is linked to diabetes, obesity, and hypertension. Over time, this silent damage weakens your heart and blood vessels, putting you at greater risk for life-threatening conditions. They're hiding in your favorite foods. Think you're avoiding trans fats? Think again. Many processed foods, including pastries, cookies, crackers, and fried snacks, contain hidden trans fats under labels like partially hydrogenated oils. Even if a product claims to have zero trans fats, loopholes in food labeling allow small amounts that add up over time. Heart-healthy swaps. Ditch margarine and hydrogenated oils for better, natural fats like extra virgin olive oil, rich in antioxidants and heart-protective compounds. Avocados, packed with healthy monounsaturated fats. Coconut oil, a great option for high-heat cooking. Grass-fed butter, in moderation. A natural alternative with essential nutrients. The countdown is almost over. Are you ready for the number 1 worst food for your heart? It might be sitting in your kitchen right now. Keep watching. Number 1, the absolute worst food for your heart, ultra-processed foods. After going through the biggest heart-damaging foods, it's time to reveal the worst offender of all, ultra-processed foods. If your pantry is stocked with packaged snacks, frozen meals, instant noodles, or fast food, you could be silently harming your heart every single day. Why ultra-processed foods are a recipe for heart disease. Packed with toxic ingredients. These foods are loaded with unhealthy fats, trans fats, and refined oils that clog arteries, refined sugars, fuel inflammation, and spike blood sugar. Excess sodium triggers high blood pressure. Artificial chemicals, preservatives, colorants, and flavor enhancers that disrupt metabolism and damage blood vessels. They fuel chronic inflammation. Ultra-processed foods trigger systemic inflammation, a root cause of heart disease. The more you eat them, the weaker your arteries become, increasing the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and high blood pressure. Engineered for addiction. Ever wonder why you can't stop eating chips or fast food, even when you're full? It's not by accident. These foods are scientifically designed to be addictive, overstimulating your brain's reward system and tricking you into overeating. The result? Weight gain, metabolic disorders, and a skyrocketing risk of cardiovascular disease. Proven to shorten your lifespan. Studies show that frequent consumption of ultra-processed foods is linked to higher risks of heart attacks, strokes, obesity, and even early death. These foods aren't just bad for your heart. They sabotage your entire body. How to break free from ultra-processed foods. Choose whole, natural foods, fresh vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and lean proteins. Cook at home. Using real ingredients helps control what goes into your meals. Swap processed snacks for healthier options. Nuts, seeds, and homemade snacks can satisfy cravings without harming your heart. Protect your heart by making smarter food choices. Your body and your future will thank you. Now let me know, did any of these foods surprise you? Which ones are you ready to cut out for better heart health? Drop a comment below.